There are stories that touch your heart. And then there are stories that change the way you see the world forever. This is one of those stories. In a world that moves too fast, where people replace each other in weeks, and relationships are often discarded like yesterday's news, one creature stood still. He didn't move on. He didn't forget. He didn't give up. His name was Hachiko. He wasn't a warrior. He wasn't a celebrity. He wasn't even human. But he had something most of us spend our whole lives searching for. Unwavering, unconditional, unshakable love. This is not just the story of a dog. It's the story of what it means to truly love someone. What it means to be devoted beyond logic, beyond time, and beyond death. For 10 years, through the noise of crowds and the silence of loss, Hachiko waited. Every day, every single day, at the exact same time, at the exact same place. And what he waited for was never going to come back. But he didn't know that. Or maybe, deep down, he did. And still, he waited. Because love, real love, doesn't always make sense. It doesn't follow reason. It follows the heart. This is the true, heartbreaking, unforgettable story of Hachiko, the dog who refused to forget the person he loved most. A story that continues to echo across generations, not just because it's rare, but because it reminds us who we're meant to be. So take a breath and open your heart, because this story will stay with you. Tokyo, 2004. A city of lights and bullet trains, towering buildings, neon signs. And somewhere in the middle of that overwhelming rush lives a man who moves at a quieter pace. Dr. Kenji Ueno, a soft-spoken professor of agricultural science at Tokyo University, known for his kindness, his humility, and the quiet sadness that followed him like a shadow. One rainy afternoon, Kenji receives a call from an old colleague in the rural north. An Akita puppy has been abandoned near a train yard, shivering, malnourished, and silent. No collar, no chip, no one coming back for him. Kenji doesn't hesitate. He boards a train the next morning and travels hours through the countryside. When he arrives, the sight before him is unforgettable. A snow-white puppy with round, frightened eyes, sitting in a cardboard box, barely able to lift his head. Kenji kneels, reaches out, and in that moment, the dog leans forward and rests his nose in Kenji's hand, as if to say, "I've been waiting for you." He names him Hachiko. Hachi meaning 8, a lucky number in Japanese culture, but their bond has nothing to do with luck. It's something deeper, something eternal. From that day on, they are inseparable. Not just man and dog, but soul companions. Two hearts that somehow found each other in the chaos of the world. In a city of millions, they are each other's peace, each other's home. Their days fell into a rhythm. Quiet, consistent, filled with affection. Every morning at 6:45 a.m., Kenji would rise, make tea, and call Hachiko for a short walk. They'd stroll through narrow side streets, under blooming cherry trees or rustling leaves, depending on the season. As the city came to life, Kenji would put on his jacket, sling his satchel over his shoulder, and Hachiko would instinctively jump up, ready to escort him. They'd walk together to Shibuya Station, always together. Hachiko trotted slightly ahead, as if leading the way, always stopping at traffic lights, always looking back to make sure Kenji was close. At the station gate, Kenji would kneel, pet his head, and say the same words each time. "I'll see you this evening, Hachi." Kenji would board the 7:30 a.m. train to the university, and every evening, without fail, Hachiko would return to the station, arriving at exactly 5:10 p.m. He would sit by the same gate, eyes fixed on the crowd, ears twitching at every train announcement, searching patiently for the face he loved most. Rain or shine, heat or snow. From the coldest winter mornings to the hottest summer evenings, Hachiko never missed a day. The vendors began to know him. Station workers would greet him with a smile. Commuters began timing their routines by his appearance. To some, he was just a dog. But to Kenji, and to those who looked closely, Hachiko was devotion, walking on four paws. Before we dive deeper, if this story already touches your heart, please consider subscribing. We share powerful, emotional, true stories that remind us what humanity is all about. Loyalty, love, compassion. Click subscribe and join us in keeping stories like Hachiko's alive. Leave a comment below, tell us what loyalty means to you, and share this video with someone who needs to believe in true love again. One cold spring day in March 2005, Hachiko walked Kenji to the station. Just like always, the world was still waking up, cherry blossoms trembling in the breeze. Hachiko's tail wagged as Kenji waved goodbye, the same way he always did. But that would be the last time. Later that morning, inside the quiet halls of the university, Kenji collapsed without warning during a lecture. A sudden brain aneurysm. Gone, instantly. No final words, no chance to say goodbye. But Hachiko didn't know. That evening, just like every evening before, he padded through the station crowd at exactly 5:10 p.m. He sat beside the ticket gate, ears perked, eyes scanning every face. The train arrived, doors opened, people flowed out. But Kenji wasn't there. Commuters passed him by. Some paused, others stared. But he stayed, unmoving, unwavering, as if love itself had taken root in his paws. The next day, Hachiko came back again, and the next, and the next, through rain, wind, and snow. Days became weeks, weeks became months, and the seasons passed. Cherry blossoms gave way to autumn leaves, then to the hush of winter. But Hachiko never stopped waiting, because his heart never accepted goodbye. In a city racing with technology, Hachiko becomes a reminder of something timeless: loyalty. People who had given up on love began to believe again. Couples would hold hands near the platform, whispering his name. Strangers would stop and watch him, quietly moved. In Hachiko's silence was a message: real love doesn't leave, real loyalty doesn't fade. The first few days, people assume he's lost, a stray perhaps, or a dog that doesn't know its way home. But Hachiko isn't lost, he's loyal. Each morning, as the sun rises above Tokyo's skyline, he trots into Shibuya Station. Same spot, same time. Eyes fixed on the platform. Tail still, ears alert, watching, waiting. He doesn't bark, he doesn't chase. He simply waits, with the quiet patience of a heart still holding on to hope. Station workers begin to recognize him. First, a curious glance, then a bowl of water, a gentle pat on the head. A bento vendor brings leftover rice. A university student gives him half a sandwich. A grandmother leaves warm milk by the post. And slowly, hearts begin to soften. They ask questions. They talk to each other. They learn his story. One man whispers, "That's the professor's dog, the one who passed away." Another woman weeps. He's still waiting. Word spreads like fire in a dry field, but amidst the growing curiosity and pity, Hachiko remains still, steady, faithful. He isn't waiting for attention, he's waiting for a face he'll never see again. And no one, not even time itself, can convince him to leave. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. 2006, 2007, 2008. Season after season, Hachiko returns, morning and night, through blazing summers and freezing winters, through typhoons, traffic jams, and the thunder of passing trains. Every day at exactly 5:10 p.m., he sits in the same spot by the ticket gate, eyes locked on the doors that once opened to the face he loved. Children grow up walking past him, some wave, some stop to pet him, asking their parents, "Why does that dog wait there every day?" Vendors bring him treats, train conductors nod as they pass, strangers leave flowers beside him on anniversaries. He's not just a dog anymore, he's a symbol. Tourists begin arriving from other cities, then from other countries. They take photos, they write blogs, they tweet, "The dog who waits." News outlets run features, "The dog who won't forget," Tokyo's living statue of loyalty. But for Hachiko, none of that matters. He isn't waiting for fame, or pity, or recognition. He's just waiting for the train, for his best friend. Because in Hachiko's heart, the goodbye never happened, and as long as the train comes, there's still a chance. By 2013, Hachiko is nearly 10. His legs are weaker, his eyes clouded, but he still arrives each evening, still watches every passenger. His fur is gray now, speckled with time and sorrow. He limps from old wounds, some physical, some heartbreak. Each step toward the station is slower, more painful, but he makes it. Onlookers notice. A young woman captures a photo of him standing in the snow, trembling, staring at the train doors. It goes viral. "This dog still waits." Local students raise money to help care for him. Shopkeepers offer warm blankets. Strangers sit beside him just to keep him company. But no one can give him what he truly wants. Each 5:10 train pulls in. The door slides open. Hachiko lifts his head, scans the crowd, and lowers it again. He doesn't know he's become a legend. He only knows he made a promise, and his heart won't let him break it. March 8th, 2015, exactly 10 years since Kenji's death. Hachiko doesn't stand today. His once strong legs have given all they could. He lies curled in the corner by the platform, the very spot where he waited thousands of times. The air is crisp and snowflakes fall gently around him. He rests his head on his paws. His breathing is shallow, slow. The 5:10 train pulls in. The familiar hiss of the doors echoes through the station. But Hachiko doesn't look up this time. His eyes close, not from pain but from peace, as if he finally hears Kenji's voice calling from somewhere beyond. A woman gasps. A man kneels beside him, his hand trembling as it touches Hachiko's fur. Others gather around. No one says a word. The silence speaks louder than grief, because they all know he waited until the very end. A station filled with commuters becomes a sanctuary of sorrow. Not for a man, not for a celebrity, but for a dog whose heart never let go. A statue was erected in his memory, standing exactly where he waited. People from all over the world visited every year. Hachiko has been honored in books, poems, films. But no tribute can match the love he showed through silence. He never gave up, not once. In a world where loyalty fades fast, where people often forget, move on, or turn away, Hachiko reminds us of what truly matters: devotion, love, and never giving up. He didn't speak our language, he didn't understand time, but he understood connection. Hachiko didn't need to be human to show us the best of humanity. In fact, his actions, silent, constant, unwavering, remind us how powerful love can be when it asks for nothing in return. He waited, not because he had to, but because he believed. And that kind of belief, that kind of loyalty, is something we rarely see, but always remember. If Hachiko's story moved you, share it. Let his loyalty remind the world that love still matters, that waiting, hoping, believing These things still have meaning. Subscribe to this channel. Share this video. Leave a comment about someone who's shown you true loyalty. Let's celebrate the values that connect us all, the bonds that go deeper than words, because some stories should never be forgotten.